Welcome back, everybody. I said I wasn't gonna come back because fuck this, but I am back because I just can't leave the game at this point. The thing y'all aren't seeing is the demon fucking opening screen that I got the first time I opened this after Steam had to update, so that's a fun time. But in editing, just a little bit of an update thing. In editing, I picked up that a lot of the words in the pick poem bit were all like, if you like for like depression and suicide and a bunch of like other stuff, all went to Sayori, which meant that you could tell and everything. I believe that like most of this is Monika's doing, and Monika's a demon, because a lot of what Sayori said was like, oh, I should have done what she told me. Whatever, we're gonna get into it because I don't want to continually think about this fucking game. Alright. Oh, fuck. It's an ordinary school day, like any other. Mornings are usually the worst, being surrounded by couples and friend groups walking to school together. Meanwhile, I've always walked to school alone. I always tell myself it's about time I meet some girls or something like that, but I have no motivation to join any clubs. I'm perfectly content just by getting on by the average while spending my free time on games and anime. There's always the anime club, but it's not like there would be any girls in it anyway. So I'm literally, because a lot of this is kind of similar, and a lot of dialogue that Sayori had is now for other characters and blah, 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 blah. But a lot of like the plot and shit is changed, and a bunch of other stuff and things. I'm recording it at 12:53 p.m., so it's not at nighttime in my apartment, and I am kind of okay with it. I just realized I did not read any of that dialogue. After I pack up my things, I stare blankly at the wall, looking for an ounce of motivation. Clubs. There really aren't any that interest me. Besides, most of them would probably be way too demanding for me to want to deal with. I guess I have no choice but to start with the anime club. This is gonna be one of these days. Walrus! Son of a bitch. Monika?
Oh my goodness, I totally didn't expect to see you here. It's been a while, right?
Yeah, it has. Did your voice get, like, deeper? Monika smiles sweetly. We do know each other. Well, we rarely talk, but we were in the same class last year. Monika was probably the most popular girl in class. Smart, beautiful, athletic. Basically completely out of my league. So having her smile at me so genuinely feels a little... What did you come in here for anyway?
Oh, I've just been looking for some supplies to use for my club. Do you know if there's any construction paper in here? Or markers?
I guess you could check the closet. You're in the debate club, right?
About that. I actually quit the debate club.
Really? You quit?
Yeah. To be honest, I can't stand all the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events and such. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it.
In that case, like, what club did you decide to join?
Actually, I'm starting a new one! A literature club!
Motherfucker. Literature? That sounds kind of dull. How many members do you have so far?
It's kind of embarrassing, but there are only 3 of us so far. It's really hard to find new members for something that sounds so boring.
Well, I can see that.
But it's really not boring at all, you know. Literature can be anything. Reading, writing, poetry. Yeah, you know poetry. I mean, one of the members even keeps her manga collection in the club room.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it's funny, right? She always insists that manga is literature too. I mean, she's not wrong, I guess. Weirdo. And besides, a member's a member, right?
Did Monica say she?
Hey, Walrus. By any chance, are you still looking for a club to join?
I mean, I guess so, but...
In that case, is there any chance you could do me a big favor? I won't ask you to join, but if you could at the very least visit my club, it would make me really happy. Please?
Well, I guess I have no reason to refuse. Besides, how could I ever refuse someone like Monica with her big, brassy voice? Sure, I guess I could check it out.
Awesome! You're really sweet, Walrus, you know that?
It's nothing, really.
Shall we go then? I'll look for the materials another time. You're more important.
And thus, today marks the day I sold my soul to Monica and her irresistible smile. I timidly follow Monica across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit, being generally used for third-year classes and activities. Monica, full of energy, swings open the classroom door.
I'm back! And I brought a guest with me!
That's gonna suck every time. A guest?
Seriously? You brought a boy? Way to kill the atmosphere. Don't be mean, Natsuki! But anyway, welcome to the club, Walrus!
All words escape me in this situation. This club is full of incredibly cute girls.
So, let me guess. You're Monica's boyfriend, right?
No, I'm not really. Natsuki, the girl with the sour attitude, whose name is apparently Natsuki, is one I don't recognize. Her small figure makes me think she's probably a first year.
Anyways, this is Natsuki, energetic as usual. And this is Yuri, the vice president.
So what it is that, Sayori just doesn't exist anymore. She's not here at all because reasons and stuff and things. So it's nice to meet you. Yuri, who appears comparably more mature and timid, seems to have a hard time keeping up with someone like Natsuki. Yeah, it's nice to meet both of you.
So I ran into Walrus in a classroom and he decided to come check out the club. Isn't that great?
Wait, Monica, didn't I tell you to let me know in advance before you brought in anyone new? I was going to, well, you know.
Sorry. I didn't forget that. I just happened to run into him.
In that case, I should at least make some tea, right?
Yeah, that would be great. Why don't you come sit down, Walrus?
The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. Yuri walks to the corner of the room and opens the closet. Meanwhile, Monica and Natsuki sit across from each other. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Monica.
So I know you didn't really plan on coming here, but we'll make sure you feel right at home, okay? As president of the Literature Club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone.
I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. It must be hard to start a new club.
You can put it that way. Not many people are very interested in putting out all the effort to start something brand new, especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention, like literature. You have to work hard to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile. But it makes school events like the festival that much more important. I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, Natsuki?
Well, I guess. Natsuki reluctantly agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must have worked really hard to find these two. Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot in the middle. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess.
Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you.
That's not... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know... I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. So, Walrus, what kind of things do you like to read? Well, considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga? I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. It looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me, and telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seems so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But, you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination and completely throw you for a loop? Anyway, I've been reading a lot of horror lately. I read a horror book once. I desperately grasp something I can relate to at the minimal level. At this rate, Yuri might as well be having a conversation with a rock.
I'd expect that from you, Yuri. It suits your personality.
Oh, is that so? Really, if a story makes me think or takes me to another world, then I really can't put it down. Surreal horror is often very successful at changing the way you look at the world, if only for a brief moment.
I hate horror.
Oh, why is that?
Well, it just...
Natsuki's eyes dart over to me for a split second.
Never mind. That's right, you usually like to write about cute things, don't you, Natsuki? What? What gives you that idea? You left a piece of scrap paper behind last club meeting, you fucking idiot. It looked like you were working on a poem called... Don't say it out loud. And give that back. Fine.
Natsuki, you write your own poems?
Well, I guess, sometimes. Why do you care?
I think that's impressive. Why don't you share them sometime?
No.
Natsuki averts her eyes.
You wouldn't like them.
Not a very confident writer yet. I understand how Natsuki feels. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart.
Do you have any writing experience too, Yuri? Maybe if you share some of your work, you could set an example and help Natsuki feel more comfortable enough to share hers.
I guess it's the same for Yuri. We all sit in silence for a moment.
Hey, I just got an idea! How about this?
Natsuki and Yuri look quizzically at Monica.
Let's all go home and write a poem of our own! Then next time we meet, we'll all share them with each other. That way everyone is even! I thought it was a good idea.
Well, I think you're right, Monica. We should probably start finding activities for all of us to participate in together. I did decide to take on the responsibility of vice president, after all. I need to do my best to nurture the club as well as its members. Besides, now that we have a new member, it seems like a good step for us to take. Do you agree as well, Walrus?
Hold on, there's just still one problem. Hey, what is that?
Now that we've reached the most important topic, I bluntly come forth with what's been on my mind the entire time. I never said I would join this club. Monica may have convinced me to stop by, but I never made any decision. I still have other clubs to look at, and I lose my train of thought. All three girls stare back at me with dejected eyes.
But...
I'm sorry, I thought... The girls exchange glances before Monica turns back to me.
I guess I need to tell you the truth, Walrus. The thing is, we don't have enough members yet to form an official club. We need 4, and I've been trying really, really hard to find new members. And if we don't find one more before the festival...
Well, I'm defenseless against these girls. How am I supposed to make a clear-headed decision when it's like this? I would feel terrible for letting everyone down in this situation. Besides, the club itself feels pretty relaxed. So if writing poems is the price I need to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls... Right. Okay, I've decided then. I'll join the literature club. One by one, the girls' eyes lit up.
Oh my god, really? Do you really mean that, Walrus?
Yeah, just shut up. Could be fun, right? You really did scare me for a moment.
I mean, if you really just left after all this, I would be super pissed. Walrus, I'm so happy! We can become an official club now! Thank you so much for this, you're really amazing! I'll do everything I can to give you a great time, okay?
Thanks, I guess.
Okay, everyone! I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Everyone remember tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so we can all share.
Monica looks over at me once more.
Walrus, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself.
Yeah. Can I really impress the class star Monica with my mediocre writing skills? I already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Meanwhile, the girls continue to chit-chat as Yuri cleans up the tea set. I guess I'll be on my way then.
Okay! I'll see you tomorrow then! I can't wait!
With that, I depart the club room and make my way home. The whole way, my mind wanders back and forth between the three girls. Natsuki, who has a deep voice for a small child. Yuri, who's slightly British for some reason. And of course Monica, who sounds like she smokes 17 packs of cigarettes every single day. Will I really be happy spending every day after school at a literature club? Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of these girls. Alright! I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. Alright. So, it's been a while since the last part and everything. But so after the thing that happened, I'm not gonna fucking spoil it because if you're here watching this part, shame on you. You haven't watched the other ones. But so stuff happened, and now I think every single time this poem bit happens, we pick a special poem, or we get a special poem that shows up. And there's this, and I mean, this bit here is what kind of freaks me out. But, you know, I have no idea. Alright. So, we're probably going to continue, at least from what I figured. We're going to continue going through the strict Yuri route. So, let's do that one. 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 Okay, fair. That one. Fuck! This fucking game. Alright. Good. Need to build up my throat.
Hi again, Walrus! Glad to see you didn't run away on us.
Nah, don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but I at least keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Jesus Christ. Okay. Thanks for keeping your promise, Walrus. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it.
Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. You already had to be dragged here by Monica. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it.
Monica, you're kind of in the way. I don't know about you, but we have this little thing here called a text box that you're standing right in front of. Could you scoot on back, please? Thank you. Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga.
Manga is literature.
Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. I'm sorry, Walrus. We'll make sure to put your comfort first, okay? Yuri shoots Natsuki with a disappointed glance. Anyway, now that you're in the club and all, perhaps you might have interest in picking up a book to read. Well, I can't really say no either way. Like you said, I'm in this club now, so it only feels right for me to do something like that if you ask. Wait. I didn't mean it like that. If you don't really want to, then forget I have said anything, I guess. No, it's not that, Yuri. I want to try to be a part of this club, so even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you wanted me to. Are you sure? I just felt like, well, as vice president and all, that I should help you get started on something you might like. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read. And we could, discuss it if you wanted. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. Well, you can read at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. Now that everyone's settled in, I expect Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. Also, in editing the last, part 6 and everything, I did notice that while, certain people show up, the background gets tilted. So, just a thing to keep in mind. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a little bit more, but at the same time, I would feel bad for distracting him from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. Looks like the same book that she lent me. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages. Ah, crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. It's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... It's the book that you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday... that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decided to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's the story about anyway? Well, I look at the cover of the book. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. There's an ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. Basically, it's about this religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison. And the people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to... Oh, that might be a little bit of a spoiler. But anyway, I'm really into it. The book, I mean. Not the thing about the limbs. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came out of nowhere. Ah, are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Morris? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy these kinds of stories too, don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into these things. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. It's just that this kind of story, it's the kind that challenges you to look at life from a different perspective. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because the world is full of horrible people and we're all worthless anyway. Then suddenly, I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, my whole body gets incredibly... I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So, I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. Ah, that's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? Yes. I mean, you don't have to, but what are you saying? Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to, it's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I still don't understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing, maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri's in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry. I was just bathing in the... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I'm gonna have to look at this in editing. I do? I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. That makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way I turn a page and Yuri slides underneath her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision. Are you ready? To turn the page. Oh, sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. Yeah. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side, and she catches it under her own thumb. Hey, Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I was just thinking, the way she second guesses things she says and all that. That's what you were talking about. Sorry. I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind! We didn't even get that far yet. so I don't know why that came into my head. Aha! Yuri, are you feeling alright? Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little... My breathing? Yuri puts her hands on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat. I didn't even notice. Anyway, I'm fine. I just need some water. Alright, don't push yourself. Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom. What on earth was that about?
Morris! Did something happen just now?
I have no idea. Yuri was acting a little strange, I guess.
So you don't know anything?
Sorry, I can't say I do. Are you worried about her?
Oh, no, not really. I was just making sure that you didn't do anything to her.
No, nothing.
Don't worry, I believe you, silly. Yuri just does this sometimes, so it's nothing alarming.
Alright, if you say so. Alright! Things have gotten really, really fucking weird. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this one here, and we'll pick back up about the same spot that we did in part 1, where we're all like sharing poems and everything. And maybe at part 2 will be slightly shorter because there's less people to read through and less dialogue, but more freaky shit. So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna save, so thanks everybody so much for watching. Appreciate it. If you like what you saw, just kind of beat the shit out of that like button, and I will see you all next time.